Alright, hello everyone. Thank you, Questing for Glory, for having me. Because for those that may have watched past Questing for Glory events, you might know that I ran 4 years ago for Questing for Glory 2. I did the original Pokemon Pearl there, but here I'll be running the remake, so it's pretty nice. It comes full circle that way. A few things to note before we get into this. If we go over to the home menu and take a look at the version number, you'll notice that it's version 1.1.1. There will be a ton of glitches in this run, and all of those glitches are only available on this patch of the game, because in the later patches of the game, including the current patch, which I believe, if I'm not mistaken, is 1.3.0, they patched out a lot of what you're about to see. So 1.1.1, and in some cases 1.0, is the best version for running. I also do want to note that with the glitches in this game, it's going to get a little chaotic, and in some cases it might be a little hard to tell what's going on. I'll try my best to explain it, but if I miss anything, I'm sorry. So yeah, we'll go ahead and get right into it. Time starts here when I press yes on the language selection. And of course we're playing on English because that's the standard version for running. Japanese is a little different. So we'll be playing on English. Yep. Time starts in 3, 2, 1. Let's get going. Alright. So this is Pokemon Shining Pearl. This, alongside Brilliant Diamond, is a remake of the original Gen 4 games that released on the DS back in 2007 in Diamond, Pearl, and Platinum. One thing to note straight away is text smashing, because that's obviously a pretty big part of this game and a lot of RPG runs. Text smashing in this game is not great, because for some reason, compared to most other Pokemon games out there, the text scrolls really inconsistently. So in order to get the text to scroll optimally and fast enough to save time over the course of the run, you need to do like really jank text smashing methods in order to get the text to scroll fast, which can, as you might imagine, it can hurt your hands. But thankfully, on the leaderboards for this game, and I believe a lot of the Switch Pokemon games as well, there's an option for playing with Turbo, which is pretty nice. Alright, so I just set a few options there. Most of them aren't really relevant, it's just things like turning the battle animations off and things like that. But the really important setting is background music. Because it was discovered very shortly after this game came out by a runner named Corvame, that if you turn the music volume all the way down to 0, basically muting it, you skip jingles that play throughout the game, like the jingle that plays when you pick up a key item or when you get a gym badge. And for No Out of Bounds, which is the category I'm running, that saves around a minute. But I'm opting to keep the music on here, just because with the music off the whole run, it will be a pretty awkward viewing experience for those at home. Watching it with music on is just a lot better of a viewing experience. Especially with some glitches I'll be doing later, where the music ends up sticking for a little bit, and it's pretty funny. So you might notice, by the estimate, that this run is pretty short, even with it being No Out of Bounds. No Out of Bounds, by the way, is a category extension we have for this game, involving, well, first of all, a lot of glitches, but second of all, in the true any percent run for this category, or in the true any percent run, where we use even more glitches. Oops, I accidentally moved down there. In the true any percent run, where we break the game even more, we would do a trick where we, much like in the original games with tweaking, we would walk to the void to reach later areas of the game, especially areas like the League and some later cities. But this category disallows that void walking. And you might think with this being a run that restricts those crazy out of bounds, that's a pretty boring run. It's actually not the case here, because with it being no out of bounds, you actually get exposed to a lot more a glitch check, because any percent just kind of abuses the menu storage glitch, which I'll be talking about in a bit. And that's pretty much it, but you get to see a lot more glitches in this route and some of the other glitch category extensions, and it's a really cool run. Speaking of glitches, one sec, gotta pick the starter. With the glitches, it has to do with one glitch called menu storage. And long story short, because it gets pretty complicated, menu storage has to do with a really weird bug on this patch of the game and on a lot of early patches, where if you go into the summary screen and then do two quick taps of the confirm button, the game does not know how to handle that, and so it duplicates the menu that you just had open. So what we can effectively do with that is layer several menus on top of each other, hence why we call it menu storage, in order to do certain things like break out of cutscenes and dialogue to really heavily break the game over the course of this run. And it just gets progressively more broken as we go along, because we can use other things to not only break out of cutscenes, but also store cutscenes and animations and dialogue as well, as we'll see later. I'm going to do a first instance of menu storage here once I get out of this cutscene up the lake. I also picked Piplup, which I'll explain why I did that later, because I have to do this quick menu storage. So as soon as we transition over to Route 201, I'll do the storage. Alright, so you might have, when I was on the summary screen there, you might have heard 2 clicks in quick succession. That was me getting menu storage. I'm setting up 2 instances of menu storage here, because I want to use one instance of menu storage, or basically one layer of menus, in order to break out of the animation that would play when I open the door to enter Mom's house. There we go, I just set up the second instance. You need to very quickly get in the bag, otherwise I crash the game. Because when you have the base menu open there, while a dialogue box is popping up, it crashes the game. So you need to be very careful to not crash. It's going to be a running theme in this run. A lot of tricks can crash the game or soft lock if you're not careful. Alright, so let's see. I backed out of it a little early, but that's okay. If you time it just right, you can back out of the menu. If you back out of the menu just late enough during that door entrance animation, you can clip through the house, and it's a little optimization. But yeah, I backed out of the menu while I was entering Mom's house, and that puts the world in this weird frozen state. Because the game still thinks I'm entering the door, so it freezes the world while I'm entering the door, but I can keep the world thinking that I'm entering the door. So I can just completely skip past all of the encounters and trainers in that route. But I can completely avoid getting the Pokédex and going through the catching tutorial and all that nonsense. And we're already in the first main city, which is Jubilife. But yeah, why did I pick Piplup, by the way? Because I haven't gotten to that yet. Piplup is picked because as part of this run, in order to progress the story early on, we have to fight Roark, who is the first gym leader. And Piplup is water type, and Roark is a rock type user, so Piplup just has the best time dealing with him. Roark is a pretty scary fight, which I'll talk about why that is later, but just know that Piplup is the best for dealing with him out of all the 3 starters by far. So I'm gonna get some potions here, because the Roark fight later on is gonna be pretty scary, as well as some other fights early on. When I did that menu, I did a trick called double inputting. Basically, both the sticks and the D-pad act as cursor movement inputs in the menu. So if you combine those, you can do really fast movements of the cursor in the menu. It's a little optimization. So I just got the old rod because, kind of like how I did door storage at the beginning, you can freeze the world by using a key item, and then interrupting that by backing out of the menu. But in order to actually use that, I need to get 2 key items, which I'll be doing with menu storage here by putting the old rod in 2 slots. So I can bring up this plus menu, and that plus menu is what's going to allow me to freeze the world. So bring up the old rod there, do an instance of storage. Bring up another old rod here. That freezes the world. And I'll back out of the menu so I can actually move. And I don't get encounters for, or get caught by trainers for the rest of the route. I'm going to cut the storage off here by using another key item, because I need to get an encounter here. I want to be level 6. Oh, I got an Abra. I want to be level 6 by the time I fight Roark, because when Piplup gets to level 6, he learns Water Gun. And that elemental move that we get there allows us to actually deal with Roark, because otherwise we just have Pound and Growl, which is not very useful. I got an Abra there, which is a pretty bad encounter. We're gonna fight an encounter here to get to level 6. And there's 3 encounters you really can't fight here. Starly's okay, especially because it's level 4 here. But there's 3 encounters you really don't want to deal with here. The Abra that I got at first there, he teleports immediately, so you can't really kill him, unless you, like, catch him straight away with the Pokeball, but that's not in the route anymore. You also don't want to Shinx, because Shinx has Thunder Shock, which is super effective against Piplup, and it can also paralyze you, which puts you in a bad position for Roark. And you also don't want Zubat, which you can't get on this route, because it can Supersonic you, make you hit yourself in confusion. It's awful. So, like, those are the 3 encounters you don't want, but all the other Pokemon you can get on this route are fine. We just got to level 6 there. We're going to the first city. But there's a few trainers blocking the way, so I'm gonna do some more menu stacks. So I'll do 3 instances of storage with the plus menu. I'll do another one here. This freezes the world, and then I'm gonna unfreeze the world at the end of the cave. And I'm gonna use this 3rd plus menu to break out of this kid's dialogue. This kid, NPC here, normally brings you over to the gym and tells you, hey, go to the mines to find the gym leader. But we're not going to do that, and we just break out of his dialogue with a key item. Going in the mines here to get an X defense, because we're so low level going into the Roark fight, he's going to hit like a truck. So that X defense there will give us a bit of padding to be able to deal with him. And we're supposed to go in the mines to talk to Roark so that our rival moves away from the door, which would allow us to enter. But we're going to do another set of menu stacks to use the kid's normal routine of dragging you over to the gym to actually clip into the gym and not have to bring Roark out, not have to talk to Roark in the mines. So we'll end his dialogue there. Which brings us over here, clipped into the gym. And we'll use a key item to interrupt that movement that the kid was doing to lure us over, so we can actually go into the gym. And we're in. And a funny side effect of that is that since the kid didn't complete his routine where he walks us over to the gym, the music that plays during that cutscene is still playing. That'll be a common theme, actually, throughout this run, where we use menu tricks to skip things, but the music from the thing that we skipped is stuck playing for a while. So get used to that. You'll be hearing that sort of thing a lot. So now we find Roark. I did save right before this fight, because this is, by far and away, the scariest fight in the entire run, because there's just a lot of ways that Roark can screw you over, basically. Like I said, he hits like a truck. And that is the case even after an X defense, which makes him pretty scary. For starters, with the Geodude, he can use Rollout, as he just did there. Rollout does more and more damage the more Geodude uses it. And that's doubly so if he decides to Defense Curl before then. Because if he uses Defense Curl... Oh, I just died. If he uses Defense Curl before he does Rollout, it doubles the power of Rollout. So he can do a lot of damage to you straight away. Unfortunately, I died there. He was a troll and decided to use Rollout over and over. That's why I saved just there. It's unfortunate having to reload too, because this game actually takes forever to reload a save. Especially on this older... It's a little better on newer patches, but on the old patch like I'm running on here, it takes a while to load. It's kind of annoying. But yeah, we'll get right back into the fight. That's kind of the annoying thing about this run. A lot of the rest of the run, in terms of the menu stacking setups, is actually very consistent for the most part. It's just the first 13 minutes of the run up until you defeat Roark or so. It's just so chock full of RNG bits that can lose you a little bit of time. It just adds up over such a short period. But that's okay, we'll just retry the fight. I just got a little unlucky the first time around with Rollout. So you can see even with this extra padding, we just barely win the fight. It's kind of scary, a little spooky. Oh my gosh, he's being a troll. I swear, if you do that again... Oh no, nice. Oh no! You know what? I probably should have healed there, to be honest, but that's fine. So yeah, this is Roark in action. It can definitely kill you a lot in runs. In fact, most of my resets are in this category are did I die to Roark, or did I get a bad encounter on that earlier route? It's just kind of the nature of the beast of this category. A lot of resets happen here. Roark especially, because this fight is just a pain. So yeah, hopefully we get lucky this time and Geodude doesn't draw us. I just got to hear some good music. While we do this, the remastered music they did for the remakes is really good. Alright, use defense curl, please. Thank you. Gonna do that again or miss. Alright, good. Heal, or I'll go ahead of him. Okay. So I finally got past Geodude. The Onyx isn't too bad. The most he can do is 6 damage with Rock Throw, which is one of the moves he knows. But that's about it. The really scary thing, though, is this next Pokemon, which is a Grunidos. So we're not quite out of the woods yet, but it's one step of the way there. I'm on good health right here, so I don't have to heal before doing the second water gun. Alright, cool. So that's the Onyx out of the way. Not too big of a deal. This Grunidos, though, is the bane of my existence with this category. I hate this Pokemon so much. Because he has a move called Headbutt. And the really annoying thing with Headbutt is it has a chance to flinch you, which he often likes to do, more likely than not. And what can happen if you're particularly unlucky is you can get in a loop of that happening. Where he flinches you so you can't move, and because he does so much, you have to heal. And then he flinches you, and you have to heal again, and you can just get in a loop of that happening over and over. So hopefully... well, he did flinch me there, but hopefully he doesn't do it too much here. Looks like the damage he's doing here isn't too bad with the headbutt. It looks like he's only doing around 10 to 12, which is pretty good. Yeah, it's around 10 to 12. So it should be fine as long as we don't get crit. Because if he crits you at any point in this fight, because he does so much damage, you're immediately dead. So let's hope that doesn't happen either. Although hopefully I didn't just jinx myself. Ideally what will happen is we'll get into Torrent on this next hit and then just kill him there. But we could get flinch looped again. And we did not get flinch looped, okay. So we had a couple of deaths there on the Geodude, but that wasn't too bad for Roark, all things considered. We're past the hard part of the run. For sure. That's a pretty scary fight, and glad we got through it. So we're fighting with Roark because we need to progress the story. While we can glitch right now, really a lot of the first half of this run is basically going through one big shopping list to get all the things we need to do to get the glitching. Because we need to progress the story far enough to get an encounter with an NPC named Bebe, who gives us ball capsules. And ball capsules, you'll see later, they're our ticket to breaking this game really dang hard. Even all things considered with the menu storage and keep item interruption setups. You're gonna see some crazy stuff later once we get ball capsules. Which is gonna be around when we get to the Rival 2 fight. So I'll do a quick heal here just to top off my health before an upcoming fight. I'll do the same menu storage setup I did before to avoid encounters here. Cool, so I just froze the world there. No, and freeze the world there with this key item. Before I do this next menu stack setup, I'm gonna do a safety save, because if I do it wrong, I can crash the game. So I just want to do a quick safety save just in case. Alright, so I'll set myself up there, and I'll save. Because if I do this wrong, I can soft lock myself in the menu here. Basically, by doing this menu stacking setup, I'll be able to interrupt the animation of hopping over this ledge and levitate in the air. Oh, I accidentally did that wrong. Let me reset that. I accidentally did an extra key item there when I wasn't supposed to. I had a brain fart. So I'll just retry that. There we go, did it right that time. Looks like I got it. Alright. So I just got Legitate. By interrupting the ledge hop animation by using a key item, I'm now levitating in the air. Because since I interrupted the ledge hop animation, the game didn't have a chance to update my height, so I was just stuck in the air at the point where I interrupted the ledge hop. And the interesting thing about this too is it actually keeps through cutscenes and fights. So I'll end this fight here and I'll still have the Legitate state. Which I'll be keeping actually for a long while. In order to skip a sequence of fights I'd have to do with these Team Galactic grunts. Going into the next town. So that menu there, but that's okay. So this is a very simple fight, because these grunts are pretty weak. That wormhole usually goes down pretty quick with Number. Usually the Chimchar takes care of that at some point. And then I'll be just using Water Gun a bunch on this Zubat on the right, and it should be dead within a couple turns. Alright, Chimchar used Number there, so Zubat's dead. Good fight. And that's actually the last fight we'll be doing normally, because the rest of them will basically be skipping with glitches. You'll see what I mean by that when we get to it later. On this next route, the world record, and really the top 2 runs, I think, do this really risky strat, where instead of doing another menu stack to avoid encounters, they just YOLO going through this route and the cave after it. But I'm going to do a safety menu stack here, just to ensure that I don't get encounters. Because when you get encounters, the game lowers your height, and you don't want that. You also run the risk of hitting the spinner right here, so it's just a lot safer to do this little stack here. Alright, so I've frozen the world, and I'll cut the stack, or storage, right there at the end of the route. So I'm going to do another menu stack setup here, after this really odd glitch with the ball capsules. So if you're inside of an incline and you use ball capsules or save the game, you gain height. So whenever we're out of bounds and we want to gain height to get up to a floor, I'll be going into the little ball capsule menu there and going into the preview to get back up to the ground. So I'm going to do menu stack here to avoid encounters in this cave. Technically don't need to do this, I just like to do this for safety. I'm going to wiggle myself up against these rocks to go beneath the floor so I can actually progress in the cave. And we're out of there, not too bad. Alright, so this is the really big one, because we're going to skip all the way from Route 204 here in Floroma Town to Eterna City. Oh, I accidentally messed up the setup, so I have to redo that. One sec. Messing up these setups because nerves are getting to me, I bet. Alright, got that. Cool. So I've gotten the storage up, I've frozen the world so I won't get encounters or get caught by trainers. And now I'm just going to make my merry way over to Eterna City. This might look a little sus, because it might look like I'm going out of bounds, but I promise I'm not. We define out of bounds in this game as that big black void area I was talking about, so as long as I don't go there, it's all legit and it's all good. And moving around in this skip in particular is very difficult because the character's, our trainer character's position is a little offset from where it might seem. And since I have a menu up the whole time, I have to do blind movement on top of my character being at an off position. So you basically just have to guess what your character is and bonk to echolocate to find where to go. But that wasn't too bad. So we got to Eterna City. We'll use ball capsules there to get back up to the floor. And now we're in Eterna City. I'm gonna go to this hut here to get the Explorer Kit. Which might seem pointless, but there is a use for it. Because when you get out of the underground when using the Explorer Kit, there's an animation where you pop up from the floor and then go back down to the floor. And you can use that to, if you interrupt that with a key item, like I was doing earlier with Legitate, you can use that to levitate. So I'll be using the Explorer Kit like that throughout the run. There's also some instances where you can use it to interrupt hopping over a ledge, which I'll be using for a glitch later, and the end portion of the run. So we just got the Explorer Kit after that short tutorial. I'll be binding that on my little plus menu in a little bit, when I go into Cycling Road. Which, you're normally supposed to have a bike to enter, but we're going to use a key item to interrupt the text that would prevent us from doing that. So I'll bind a Explorer Kit there, and then we're on Cycling Road. I'm gonna save here because this movement isn't too bad, but in my runs of this category, I have a really bad habit of getting caught by trainers here, so let's hope that doesn't happen. I'm gonna wait there just so I don't get caught by that trainer. Alright, we're out of there. Alright, didn't get caught by trainers this time. I like this text box here, by the way. You need a bike to go out on Cycling Road. But, man, I'm already on a bike. It's like that little frame there. It's pretty funny. So I'm going to do a quick menu stack here to freeze the world so I don't get caught by trainers. And I want to go over to Mount Coronet so I can go over to our next destination, which is Hearthome. I'm going to unfreeze the world quick by just canceling out of the Explorer Kit, which is another way to unfreeze the world. I'm going to do another bit of storage to avoid encounters here and also avoid a cutscene with Cyrus, who's normally the main villain. You might think doing all of these menu stacking setups every time I enter a load zone is kind of cumbersome, and it is, but it's absolutely necessary that I do this. Because since we're so low level, since we skipped all the fights in this run just up to after the Galactic double, there is no way we'd be able to deal with these fights. So we have to do menu stacking setups to get past these trainers and encounter counters in the grass. So I'm going to use the key item here, or Explorer Kit, to unfreeze the world. Now I'm going to keep this key item up as I go into the city, because there's a cutscene where owner's Pokemon sees us as we enter the city, but we can cancel out of it with a key item there. So here I progress the story a little more. We want to talk to Fantina by the contest hall, so she goes to her gym. I'm also going to go into the Pokemon Center there, because I'm going to Death Warp later, and I want my destination with Death Warp to be right here in Hearthome, so that just sets my warp point right there. Again, just progressing the story, talking with our mom in the contest hall. Talking to our mom in the contest hall also gives us access to stickers, which is how we're going to be able to break the game even more with ball capsules. Alright, so we'll go down here to start our second rival fight, or what is technically our first rival fight. I'm gonna save here, just in case I soft block. This skip isn't too hard, but better safe than sorry. So I'll do one instance of storage, and then back all the way out to the base menu. Right here. And I'm gonna go into the ball capsules, and then go into the menu here where you place a sticker. If you're in this menu while you are entering a battle, and then you enter the preview, there we go, the fight's over. So if you enter a preview when you start a battle in the ball capsules, and then you exit the preview, the game considers the battle complete. So we'll be using that to skip a lot of fights in the latter half of this run here. So I'm gonna save again, just in case I softlock again, because this is the most convoluted menu stack in the entire run. There's about 6 layers of menus that I'll be doing here. There we go. So I just have a whole ton of menus there, because I want to do a levitate setup involving the Explorer kit when I get to an upcoming route. You also might notice that the rival music is still playing. Similarly to the cutscene with the kid in Oreburgh City, because we broke out of the fight early and didn't actually complete it, the music is stuck playing until we either die or reload the game. So get used to this music, because you're going to be hearing it for a little while. So I'm going to enter the underground by just playing alone there. I'm going to exit, and as I hop out, I'm going to use this key item to interrupt the animation where I pop out of the hole. And now I'm levitating. And this allows me to go right over the side ducts right there that normally guard this route. So now I'm about to enter Route 210. I have to actually unfreeze the world though so I can go back to the ground, so I'll do that right here. Let's see what color fog we get. Okay, blue fog, this is fine. One second. Doing another menu stack here. This just lets me freeze the world again, going into an upcoming fight. Alright, so I was mentioning the color of the fog because, as you can see, there's fog on this route. This is the infamous fog route you might be familiar with. And the color of the fog actually changes depending on the time of day that you have set on your Switch. Right now we're in the evening, so it's light blue, which isn't too bad. You can kind of see where you're going. But what's really annoying is if you have yellow fog. Because if you have yellow fog, it's basically impossible to see on that route. Well, it's hard to see anyway, but it's even harder if you have yellow fog. So I'm going to go into the underground here and exit. I'm going to interrupt it again with a key item. Because you're supposed to fight this Team Galactic grunt to get into the cave. But if you store the animation, you can just go right behind him and enter the cave that way. Again, we're doing this to progress the story. Because in order to fight Fantina, which is what we want to do shortly, we need to do this sequence where we interact with this mural in the cave. Because that way Fantina will trigger, and we can actually go and fight her. This also gives us access to the Surf TM, and doing Fantina will do that. Fighting Fantina later will do that as well. Because we need surfing because we need that for a glitch later. To get through Victory Road at the end of the game. So we finally triggered Fantina, but it's gonna take it would take a long while to get back. So we're gonna Death Warp here, off this grunt. If you remember, I took that center earlier in Hard Home City, and this is the reason we take that, because we're gonna Death Warp by dying to this grunt intentionally. which is pretty fast actually, because this Beautifly, when it uses an attacking move, one hits you no matter what. So we'll just growl there because we can't do anything else. There we go, use Leech Life, and we're dead. That will send us back to the center that I took in Hardhome. So we don't have to run all the way back, thankfully. Now I'll be fighting Fantina. But the puzzle here is, there's a bit of a puzzle in this gym. The puzzle is basically, you go in a door that corresponds to the correct answer to a math equation before each door. But the answers are the same. The correct doors in each section, there's 4 sections, are the same every time. Go in the right door first, and then the middle, then the left, and then the right again. We'll do that puzzle real quick. Thankfully, the elevators here are a lot faster. In the originals, in the original Diamond and Pearl, they were a lot slower. But thankfully, they're a bit quicker here. So I don't have to spend as much time on elevators. I'd like to give quick shouts to Garfield the Lightning, who calls this section on the original games Fantina's Wild Ride. I feel like it's pretty fitting. Alright, so I'm gonna save here just in case I soft lock an accident. If you remember when I skipped the rival fight earlier with ball capsules, I'm gonna be doing the same with Fantina. Just have to set up a quick menu stack. There we go, and I'll enter the ball capsules. I'm gonna press the plus button as it's fading to white there. I accidentally held it for a bit long, so I got 2 previews, but that's okay. Alright, so much like the rival skip, that will skip the Fantina fight, just there. And we get her badge. Apparently we got the other 3 badges, even though we really didn't. It's a little interesting bug there with that cutscene. And yeah, because we, like with the rival fight, because we ended the fight early, we're just gonna have the gym leader music playing for the next 5 minutes or so. So have fun listening to that for the next 5.5 minutes. So we've got Surf, because we just defeated Fantina. We have access to Surf now. So now our goal is to get to the end of the game. But you might be asking, hey, how can you do that if you can't go out of bounds? This is no out of bounds, right? Well, you're correct. We have a pretty interesting way in this category, actually, of getting to the Pokemon League. And I won't spoil it just yet, but it's one of the craziest tricks in this entire run, and it's why I like running no out of bounds, or at least part of the reason why I like running no out of bounds. Because there's really no other trick like this in any other category of VDSB, category extensions or no. I just find this category of music on pretty funny. Because, like, you're just doing normal walking around a town, you hear this dramatic fight music the whole time. Alright, so I'll do another menu stack here just to avoid some encounters. Oh wait, hold up, I didn't do it quite right. I have to reset it. Got to do an instance of storage. There we go. There we go, we got the storage. I've frozen the world, and now I'll be going back through Route 209. Because our goal now is to go over to Sunny Shore City, which is where the big warp is. Or where the big trick is, rather. It is a warp, but you'll see what I mean by that when we get there. There's a big trick I'll be doing in Sunny Shore City, so I need to run all the way over there. What's nice about these little bits of exploring with the menu up is that if you have just the base menu here, you can actually go into the pause menu, or the save menu, right here. And it lets you see your character a little easier. You also might just saw 2 NPCs right there. A little side effect of some of these menu stacks is it can duplicate NPCs. So yeah, we get 2 joggers right there, and it's pretty nice to look at. I believe joggers are the only NPCs that happens to, but I might be wrong. Alright, so we're at the end of the route, so we'll go into the bag. Cancel out of the Explorer kit. That unfreezes the world, so I can actually enter this gate. I'm going on to the south in Veilstone to enter Route 214. Because we want to go through Sunny Shore. So we have to go to Route 214 and then to Route 222. And that's how we'll get to Sunny Shore. So I'll set up key item there. 2 instances of storage. I'll do a key item there to freeze the world. So I can go through this route without getting caught. And 222 afterwards. So I'll go through 214 there, no problem. Upcoming in this next little town, there's supposed to be an NPC that guards your way. But nah, we can just walk right past him. Because the world is frozen, his AI or interaction with you is just deactivated, so we can just walk right by him. So I'm gonna unfreeze the world by canceling out of the Explorer kit. I'm gonna make sure I move the stick very carefully so I don't accidentally activate the Explorer kit. And then as soon as I enter this cutscene with Flint, I'm gonna use a key item which cancels out the cutscene. I'm making my way over to the Lighthouse because the big trick that I'm about to do involves the binoculars at the top of the Lighthouse. So we'll be doing a quick conversation with Volkner to get access to that. Because when you look at the binoculars, what happens is it gives you a view of the entrance to Victory Road. And if you go into a menu and save while you're in that view where it shows you the League entrance, or Victory Road entrance, some funky things happen, which you'll hopefully see pretty soon here. So I'll go into the bag while I'm in storage, make sure I'm not in a tab that has items in it. I'll back out here. You can see that's in the scene that shows the Victory Road, or actually the Pokemon League entrance. And I'll save and reload. When you're in the binoculars and you're looking at the entrance to the League, the game sets your position while you're in the binoculars as the entrance to Victory Road. So if I save and reload while I'm looking through the binoculars, I will reload at the entrance to Victory Road. So we've essentially wrong warped to the very end of the game. Like I was saying, it's one of the craziest tricks in this entire game, and that's why I like running this category. And it also gives us a nice safety save in case we mess up some menu stacks in a second. Excuse me? Oh, no. Okay, so for some reason the save didn't go through, and I'm all the way at Fantina. Huh. This is interesting. So, that's never happened before. Uh-oh. I think I soft locked. Yeah. Yeah, I got flustered there and forgot to press the plus button. Oh, dear. Ah, man. That's alright. I just have to fight Fantina again and then go all the way back there. Yeah, I've never had that happen before. I'm positive I pressed A on the save screen, so that would have saved the game there. I'm surprised I didn't actually save. That is strange. Okay, well, I guess I'll have to make absolutely sure when I do the warp this time that it saves. In hindsight, I probably should have saved right before I attempted that. Because I had a sneaking suspicion something like that could happen. It just usually doesn't, so I don't really account for that when doing safety saves. We'll just make our way back to the lighthouse. Hopefully we don't soft lock this time on the trick. I swear. See, that's the annoying... That's the thing with me running this category. Last time when I ran this game, or this category at a marathon, which was for Speed Soul's charity marathon, back in October of last year, I soft-locked a crap ton and ended up 10 minutes over estimate. So it's almost like I have a curse now, where if I run this at a marathon, at least one thing goes wrong. And we just got one there. Like, dang it, set up wrong. Redo that. Keep inputting a plus input when I don't need to. One day, y'all. I get so flustered and actually do this X setup right. Because seriously, that has never happened before. Actually missing a warp like that. Kind of thrown off right now because of it. So I'll make our way to Route 214 again. Do the same stack setup I did to avoid encounters. Also skip the dialogue with Flint, which is the name of that character. When we get to Sunny Shore. Oh, I got it by accidentally. Did one more menu now as opposed to. That's fine. I'll still have the menu stack set up where the world's frozen, so it's okay. I like how we stop Flint as he's trying to talk to us. We're just like, hold it! And then he freezes. Alright, so we're finally at the lighthouse again. I'm just praying I don't hack up the warp like I did last time. That seriously has never happened before. I'm surprised I even managed that. So I'm gonna save, just in case I accidentally don't save when attempting to warp. IGT is still pretty good. It runs been pretty clean besides that little goof up. To be honest, it's been going really well. So I'll go into the bag, go to the Pokeballs tab. Alright, now I know for sure it's saved there, so we should be good. So yeah, like I was saying, when you look at the binoculars, the game sets your position as the entrance to Victory Road. So if you save while you're in the binoculars, when we reload here, we'll end up at the entrance to Victory Road. So we essentially wrong warp to Victory Road, which is one of the last areas of the game. One of my favorite tricks in the entire run, and honestly out of any of the categories, it's really sick. Alright, so now we're at Victory Road. We're going to end up in the middle of the water here, don't worry about it. This gives us this random Bibarel that came out of nowhere, which we can surf on. And I'm going to do a menu stack setup here, or it interrupts the animation where I hop off of Bibarel here. There we go. Now I'm surfing in the floor. This is a trick called Surf on Land. I'll be using this to get through Victory Road. I'm going to use menu stack setup here, though. To gain and lose height with ball capsules as I go through Victory Road. So I'll do 3 base menus here. I just did my second. And I'll do 1 plus menu to freeze the world. There we go, just frozen the world. And now as I move through Victory Road on Bibarel, I need to be very careful with my stick movements, because if I tilt the control stick too much, I'll hop off of Bibarel, which is bad news bears. So even if I'm taking this very carefully, in order to ensure that I don't hop off, it's overall better, because that way I ensure that I don't accidentally fall off, which would be pretty bad. Alright, so I've lowered my height a little bit there with that ball capsule, as there's some bridges I need to go under to actually progress through here. So yeah, even though it doesn't look like much, because I'm just surfing on the air on a Bibarel, that's actually one of the most tense parts of the entire run, because you really cannot nudge the stick too much, otherwise it's all over. Alright, cool, we're at the end of Victory Road. I just want to get close to the entrance. Ensure that I don't get an encounter when I hop off of Bibarel. I'll use a ball capsule here to get up to the floor. And hopefully, there we go, now we're at the end of Victory Road. So to get into the league, you would have to use Waterfall to get up this big waterfall right here. But obviously we don't have that. Also, I'm going to save here just in case I soft lock. We don't have Waterfall, so we can't get up there normally. So instead I'm going to do a trick. It involves the Explorer Kit like I did before with the canceling the animation of hopping out, but I'm going to use it when I hopping on Bibarel. And now we've triggered Flintstones mode, as I like to call it. That lets me run right through the waterfall so I can enter the league without having to use Waterfall. And you can see the Bibarel is attached to our feet. That's a little side effect of the glitch, and that's why I like to call it Flintstones mode. Because it'll be permanently attached to our feet for the rest of the game, assuming we don't save and reload. So I'm going to do the ball capsule trick I did before to avoid this fight with our rival. There we go, we've skipped the fight. I'll be doing this throughout the rest of the game to skip all of the Elite Four members, because again, we have a very weak Piplup right now, so we can't fight these Elite Four members in the slightest. So we have to do this ball capsule trick to skip past them. Before each of them, I will save, just in case, because like with Fantina, where I saved earlier, I can't soft lock if I do this wrong, because like I can crash the game if I do this incorrectly. So I'll just be saving just in case. And get used to the rival music. You'll be hearing that for a while. Until we fight this Elite Four member here. And then you'll be hearing the Elite Four music for a while. So same thing like I just did with the rival. I'm going to enter the ball capsules with storage. And then as the second Fade to White happens leading into the battle, I'm going to enter the preview. Again, because the game considers the game considers the fight complete if I exit the ball capsule while I'm in the fight. Where am I? Okay, that was weird. I couldn't find where I was, so I had to fumble to get on the elevator, but we got through it. So anyways, like I was saying, we have to do these ball capsule skips because we just cannot fight these Elite Four members. Our Piplup is too weak. Interestingly, in the past we used a method, and some other categories, we have a method of skipping these fights with Pokedolls. But with the no out of bounds route, as it stands right now, we don't have easy access to Pokeballs, or Pokedolls. So we have to do this ball capsule skip to avoid these fights instead. Which I honestly kind of like this method better, because it's pretty funny. Because we get to activate Flintstones mode. And Flintstones mode is pretty good. Yeah, we have some pretty intense music going as we fight, or quote-unquote fight these Elite Four members. Alright, so we have one more Elite Four member. Where's the elevator? I got lost again, so I have to find the elevator. There we go. I don't know why I keep getting lost finding the elevator. I think I'm just accidentally jerking the stick. So I end up getting way off center. So we'll do a ball capsule skip. Lucy in here. Same thing as we did with the other Elite Four members. Go in the ball capsules, exit the preview during the battle. I accidentally exited out, but that's fine. Go into the ball capsules during the battle, and exit, and that ends the battle straight away. With the old method of skipping these fights, where we use Pokedolls, I like to joke that we're bribing them with plush dolls. So here it's like we're bribing them with shiny stickers. Alright, so, I'm gonna do one last skip with Cynthia. But we skip Cynthia in a bit of a different way. We technically could skip her by doing ball capsules like we did with the other Elite Four members. But the way that we skip Cynthia is pretty good. Pretty funny. Some pretty funny results. So I'm gonna do a key item there, and then 2 instances of storage. I'll pull up another key item there. I'm gonna use this key item as soon as I load into the room. This gives me control during the cutscene. So, hey Cynthia. She's a little off screen, but she's there, I promise. But yeah, I interrupted the cutscene where you would meet up with Cynthia and you start her fight. And I'm gonna... Oh, hey Bibrel, how's it going? I think I got it. There we go. So I snuck on the elevator behind Cynthia, so we skip her fight. And there's supposed to be some dialogue here that leads into the Hall of Fame, but we can skip that by using a key item and bringing up that text. So that's the end of the game. Now we've skipped all those fights, we're in the Hall of Fame. We are good to go to finish. The time is going to be in about 30 seconds when the game fades to black after this Hall of Fame sequence. Yeah, as you can see, no out of bounds is a really sick category. It's one of my favorite categories to run out of any glitch category this game has to offer. For sure, it's a really fun run. So like I was saying, time is very shortly once we end this Hall of Fame sequence. Time! Oh my gosh, I accidentally yanked my controller cord. Alright, so that was a run of a video game. Had a bit of a goof with the big warp, but it worked out in the end. And of course, Roark was a bit trolly, but it worked out alright. That was a pretty fun showcase. So I know we're a little bit behind schedule, but real quick before we shift over to the next run, I do want to give some shoutouts. First of all, I want to thank the Questing for Glory Committee for letting me run this game after running the originals 4 years ago. It's been a pleasure. I also want to shout out some of the members of the Pokemon Switch speedrunning community. In particular, I want to shout out Fawn or Fourth Horn, either one. He is another runner of the glitch categories of this game, mainly any percent, and he was a big help to me for getting really good at these glitches and getting really consistent at them. So thanks to him for that. I also want to shout out Etiquette, Shenanigans, and Pulse Effects and Corvame, who I mentioned earlier. They're all big inspirations for me for just in the speedrunning scene in general, growing my presence here. Thanks to them for being an inspiration to me. And also just being really nice people and really good runners in general. So yeah, I think that's it for me. We get our nice Elite Four music during the credits. Again, a side effect of that skip we were doing earlier.